Reducing liquids is a great way to intensify flavor without adding fat. And it's also a great way to thicken sauces without adding flour. But there's a fair amount of guesswork involved. When a recipe tells you to reduce liquids, there's always a target. Reduce by half, reduce to 1 cup, that sort of thing. But how do you know when you're there? Well, you can eyeball it, but that's very inaccurate. You can boil the sauce for a while, pour it back into your measuring cup and measure it that way, but that's messy and inconvenient. Or you can find a better way. Surprise! I have one for you. Make yourself a dipstick. To make your dipstick, you'll need a wooden skewer, not a really skinny one, but one that has a little heft to it, a ruler, a permanent marker, and possibly a paring knife. We'll get to that in a minute. The idea is to mark your skewer every 1/4 inch or so that it becomes a kind of ruler. And you have to go up high enough so that it will be adequate when you have your sauce in your pot at the beginning and also after you reduce it. So if I'm putting 2 cups of liquid in a saucepan, I want to make sure that I go up a couple of inches. This is what it looks like. Now, if you're like my cameraman Tony, you don't like the idea of permanent marker in your liquid, you can do something else, which is you can take your paring knife and you can make little notches every 1/4 inch. Now, you may not be able to see these on camera, but you'll be able to see them with your eye, which is what's important, and they will serve exactly the same purpose. So I'm making these little notches with my paring knife at every 1/4 inch or so, and then when I stick the skewer in my sauce or my liquid, I'll be able to tell where I am. That's what it looks like. So now we're ready to reduce our sauce. To reduce the sauce or any liquid, all you do is pour it into a saucepan. And I have 2 cups of pomegranate juice here. I'm going to use that later to marinate a pork tenderloin. And I want to take my first measurement before I bring it to a boil. Why? Because the bubbles will make it seem that I have more liquid in my pot than I actually do. Now, the stick is marked 1/4 inches. Remember, we want to use the flat end to take the measurement because otherwise we won't get an accurate reading. Now here you can see my mark is up to the 1/2 inch spot. And so I have to just remember that. That's the challenge here. And now all I have to do is bring it to a boil, wait a little while, and then check it again. So my pomegranate juice has been boiling for 10 minutes, and now I want to see how much it's reduced. First thing is to turn off the heat because, again, the bubbles will give me an artificially high reading. So, turn it off, take my dipstick, flat end down. What do you know? I've reduced it by half. With my dipstick, I always know where I am.